Hey, what's up, guys? So as you can see, I got the win yesterday. So what I want to do is just show you guys kind of where I'm ranked as far as a player amongst other players. It caught my interest when I saw Desir going against a guy that's over 200 mil, and I said, wow, we still have some guys that are pretty big in the game, TCP wise. My concern actually is more so with the strongest team power. So I'll start here. And as you can see, we have guys that are 5.6 mil coming up on 5.7 mil. So that's pretty strong when you look at how guys can get their strongest teams that big. I'm at 710, and I'm coming close to 5.5, but I'm not even quite sure I can get them to 5.5. You know, I'd have to maybe level up a tune that I don't necessarily want to. For instance, that would have to be someone like Scientist Supreme. I mean, if I could get Gore to get up that high, that'd be great. I'd be interested in getting 3 diamonds on him. But I don't know if I want to do 3 diamonds on Scientist Supreme or Moondragon, and those would be the ones that'd be next in line to try to get that high. Perhaps taking Silver Surfer to P3 could be the difference, but I don't know if that's worth it either. So I think for the moment, that'll be where I'm at until another tune comes into the game that I can max out. If I got a lucky pull on Mephisto, I'm sure a 7-7 Mephisto would do the trick. And so when we look at my my collection power, I'm at 490. And so just to kind of show you guys how some of the top guys are looking, you got Platypus Messiah, 220 mil, the Warrior Queen, 219 mil, and you can see all these, you can see all the people in the top 100 that are over 200 mil. So that's a lot of big accounts here, and there's a fair share of them as you go through that you can see that are in the top 100. You look at Ceci, you look at Tony Stark. And so as you're going up and down, I am Groot. And these are names we see all the time. Beer, Joker, Gorilla. Gorilla's at 211. I think when I battled him, he was 180. So he's really grown. OG Diamond Dave at 190. And so this is something I hadn't looked at in a long time. But it just lets us know that the guys are still really aggressively growing their accounts. And as we get closer to the bottom of the top 100, you can still see the guys are, 170s. Let's go down a little bit more. Jarhead, I remember going against him. Glass Gloss, he's been in our alliance, and he's really grown a lot. Let's see. Diamond Dale. And so the lowest account is at 173. Even as far high up as I can see from where I'm at, let's see, it's 140, about 146. But that's just kind of give you guys an idea of what this is looking like when you translate it over to Cosmic Crucible, and why the collection power is not so much my concern, but the strongest team power is. And that can really prove to be a challenge. And just so you guys can get an idea where we are as an alliance, we're 156, Knights of the Stormbreaker. And so that win took me to the top 100. I'm at 95. It'd be nice to get another win. This could be a good chance for me to go 3-0 just because I'm more evenly matched with the guys in this entire bracket, even though some of the guys are much lower on TCP. Like I said, once again, the strongest team power is what I kind of look at. And so I think for the most part, I'm in range with those guys as well. That win took me a little bit closer to where the threshold is for Masters 3, even though I am Masters 3. And what I'm looking at is just trying to get solidly inside of Masters 3 where I'm away from the motion cutoff here. And so I decided to keep my defense the same. I thought about switching up and putting Dorm in 2 because we know that's an efficiency sink. And then I remembered, I said, well, I do want to see how Lady Deathstrike does in 2. So we'll try that today. if she's not much of a difference maker, which I have no idea if she will be or not, then perhaps I'll switch Dorm there and try her in 1, because that particular team could use some more damage, as they're tanky enough from the one time I used them with Superior 6 that they were not able to use the revive from Dorm. That may not be the case today or tomorrow, so we'll see what today brings and if I should move forward keeping this team as it is with Dorm in there. But I decided to put Dorm as Raider. I don't think he'll get a turn either way, and change Moondragon to Raider just because of the crit chances going on, given and I'm not sure if it works exactly this way, but Strange giving them more ability energy based on crit chance. And so, of course, this staple room, room 3, I don't see a need to change it yet. It's just to ensure the Spider Society is used here, as well as this is a place for them to use Night Stalkers. My Orchis is small enough to where they can go in and use a New Warriors on it. The 6 red on Nimrod just happened after reset, so it's actually still 5 red, so he's not quite that big. And the Odin Illuminati seemed to work well in 5. And so far, the experiment with Reed Richards is I'll continue forward to see if he is as problematic or maybe more problematic in using Black Bolt. It may not be a difference at all, but when I went against this particular version with the Odin, it was very hard with Reed. Now, if you run it in room 1 with Black Knight, it's an easier version to beat with Reed Richards. So you want to go ahead and just go ahead and use the Black Bolt version there. And so when it comes to room 6, this particular combination has helped to ensure a double sack when guys had Odin on offense. And that's kind of why I'm running here. As far as the setup for after the double sack, it's not really that hard to beat for what most guys are able to use on it. So it's interesting to see Morgan here, and it didn't dawn on me at the time, so I switched out Nightcrawler thinking, hey, I could use Apoc here. I don't think I'll need him anywhere else. And I had forgotten that Morgan gets the 5% speed per Mystic Tune. And so the problem is when you're setting up a team like this, I think with a Skrull or without a Skrull, you're trying to find ways for the 5th that you bring in to take a turn. And you see there, she does, because she got that speed up. And so that's enough damage to where when the Gore follows up and then the Thanos, that you can see where my Apoc is. He's in jeopardy. And so I thought Apoc would get a chance to go. He would live. And as you see here, he doesn't. And so the thing that I have to consider is that definitely I'm going to try Morgan in there, because I don't think most guys are going to catch that. They're not going to be paying attention to her just like I wasn't, because she's such an old tune. It's like, what is she doing here? She has no synergy with anybody. But she's just a deterrent for your Apoc. So if you see her in there with Annihilator, Skrull or no Skrull, then you want to try to do the counter without Apoc. And so the fewer mystics you have, of course, the better, because then she won't get the speed up. And you want to try to make sure she doesn't get her turn, because she's still hitting pretty hard. And so that's a problem for your tunes that don't revive. Now, fortunately, my old man Logan had a chance to go and get his special going, so he's reviving. And that's really why I like to have the Panda Pool and the Dead Pool on the opposite end, so that they can take the hit so he gets a chance to revive. Because he was pretty low, and it's only because he got another turn in his special he was able to get his health up. Otherwise, he was pretty low and in jeopardy as well. And so now when I move on to room 6, my thought is like, well, Cabal should be fine. I don't think I need Kang anywhere. Definitely taking Ultimus. And we know what Kang and Ultimus do to Black Knight. The question here was, do I basic to not hit the Silver Surfer? And I said, no, just go ahead and hit him, because the damage, you see how low he is, Silver Surfer that is, Black Knight is gone. Cap is taunting, but we're already ready to go. Cabal is set. And so it's just a couple moves to make sure Quicksilver doesn't get a chance to go. So now, as the sequence of things, you see the Quicksilver's gone. I wish I could have moved over to take care of someone else, but it's like Cap is taunting still. Can do this all day. But for the most part, it's still a very quick and easy counter. Just a couple more turns than I would like to have seen. But overall, very efficient to use this if you happen to see the out of time in 6. And so that frees up my Superior 6 for room 5. I think if you have a smaller Superior 6, you haven't put red gear or the purple ISOs on them, then it can be tricky. But when you have your Superior 6 built up, and of course your Vulture, it's a pretty easy go. Now, once again, I think it's a mistake to have Nightcrawler next to Absorbing Man because you instantly get the slow on him, and that's a way of controlling the Nightcrawler. I don't think it plays out to where you can lose, but I think it just has a bigger effect on the overall efficiency points if you have Nightcrawler perhaps in the middle, or even if Nightcrawler is next to Rogue, so that opening move from Vulture doesn't slow him down. But at the end of the day, as the guy attacking into this, I love to see Nightcrawler next to Absorber Man. I put slow, and then I can go through the regular sequence of things. I would prefer to be able to get off the Absorber Man taunt when Kraven goes, but I just look at Kraven's special as more for damage, and you can see how that took place. For the most part, you can't get around the evades as you normally would because you have an Absorbing Man there, so your Vulture is not as effective as you'd like him to be, but you do clear the evades or the dodge, or whatever they're calling it, in the kit. And so, for the most part, Nightcrawler does get his turn. I think the key is what you want to do is you make sure that the Rogue doesn't do her ultimate, because that will be huge damage because of the stat boost she gets from the Absorber Man. So my focus here was just to get her done, and then, okay, so Nightcrawler, he's pretty low, and we'll just do what we have to do to try to get him out. If it's a hit or two extra because of that, which as you see it is, then that's what it is, and we just want to clear the room as efficiently as we can, health-wise, on my Superior 6. And so this, as we've seen, Night Stalkers and Orchis, is very efficient, it's very quick. Somehow my attack went through the same as it did yesterday, so my Agatha goes first. And maybe it's this placement order, maybe it's the combination of the ISOs, I don't know. But by her going first, it just turns into a 2-turn. She hits, she pings, and pings. And so there's nobody left except the Lady Deathstrike. 1 turn for Moon Knight and a ping, and so it's all over. And so here, I wasn't sure if the Spider Society could beat this on the third attempt after the double sack. And so I took a look at the counter sheet, and King Sheet had done a counter where he took out Night Stalkers with the Spider Society. So I said, okay, well, we'll just double sack it, play it safe. I do like to go in with the Bifrost or as many Hero Ass Guardians as I can, because they get death proofs. It's not so much about trying to put any damage on them, it's just about trying to last, get through at least the turn 1 abilities from the Night Stalkers, because that ultimate right there is pretty deadly. And I like to get past that, and if I can't get past what Blade and Agatha will do, and usually when I run the Bifrost, no matter what team I'm trying to sack, I get pretty close to the Mephisto ult. They are lasting much longer than normal because of the raid room. So as you'll see in my second sack, they go right into pulling Mephisto ult. And so I thought here it'd be a good idea just go ahead and put in Captain America, because he'd have a little more sustain than Quicksilver. Or maybe he doesn't, I don't know. Because I think Quicksilver does get death proofs. But I figured I'd try it and see. And so I switched them out because I'm not going to need Cap. I was looking through to see if anybody else had more health, more sustain. And I said, okay, we'll see how it goes. Maybe they can last long enough to get to the Mephisto ult. You see ult's right there right away, so it didn't matter. And so now it's just all about trying to go in with the Spider Society. I was a little concerned because I hadn't done it. I did see how easy it was going when it was the Night Stalkers in 3 and King Sheet did the Spider Society, so I felt confident going in. And overall, you'll see it's pretty much the same thing. Once you ult here and you're able to eventually get the Man-Thing into stealth, perhaps hitting the Mephisto isn't the greatest idea, because if you put slow on Blade, he can speed up. but somehow, because I guess you got Pop in here, he wasn't able to do it. And so I was able just to go right in on Blade after that and get him out of the picture. With Agatha and Man-Thing both in stealth, they made it convenient they were next to each other, so I wouldn't have to worry about what they would do, and I could just focus on the Blade. And so I don't think from here it really matters what you do. It's just a turn or two, and then you have Man-Thing out of the way.